Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. We are the Gaming Stooges.
I'm Jack.
You can call me Cloud.
And I'm Landon.
We hope you enjoyed today's discussion, and if you do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Twitch, or joining our Discord. Let's get on with the show.
Oh boy.
Oh boy!
You guys ready to do some hot takes?
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
By the way, this is going up on Halloween.
Pass.
Pass.
Pass Halloween or pass hot takes?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
alright, so we're doing this live on the 21st, but yes, this is going to be going up on other platforms on the 31st, aka Halloween. And tonight, we are going to talk about some of our gaming hot takes. And hot takes, I mean, it's a pretty popular thing. Everybody likes to have that, like, unpopular opinion, or at least an opinion that, like, is not really shared amongst, like, a lot of people enough that, like, when you say it, like, it's, you know, it's got that spice to it. Like, you just kind of feel it.
we could fill this entire podcast with just Landon's opinions.
I think
What?
so, honestly.
No.
I mean, we'd have to start getting a little specific about, like, specific games and, like, stuff like that, but I definitely think it would be possible, yeah.
I think everyone else on the internet agrees with me, and you guys are wrong.
Uh-huh.
That's
Oh.
my hot take.
You are nitpicking and biased.
And
I'm
biased.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, I have one that I would like to start us off with, because it is, I brought a few that are, like, more general. I didn't ask for, like, any stipulations as far as, like, what kind of hot takes. So, like, if people wanted to do specific stuff for, like, specific games or series, they could, if they wanted to do specific genres. But I went kind of general with mine. And I think that, considering how the internet functions, my what I wanted to open with was the duality of the quality of games versus how much someone says they are, like, they like or do not like them. And I feel like a lot of the time on the internet, these things do not have to be the same. These can be two different things. But on the internet, every game is good that you like, and every game is bad that you don't like. And that is it. Somehow.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can have a bad game that is, like, there's like a few redeeming qualities, obviously, but, like, is largely, like, a lot of stuff you could say, okay, this is wrong with it, this is not good, and still, like, be like, I like this game a lot, though. There's, like, a lot of things about it that, like, maybe just, like, for example, for me, my biggest one is, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories or Digimon World 3, like, these games from my childhood that, like, I would never tell you this is a good game. I would say they're okay, but, like, a lot of the time, I think most people would probably agree that they're not great. And yet, like, I still like them. Like, I mean, I would say that Digimon World 3 has a lot of problems. It's grindy. There's a lot of backtracking. It's really, really annoying with the random encounters because of the frequency, like, up and down. We did a Let's Play, and I think these guys remember the fun time I had doing some of the parts of that.
That LP lasted forever.
Oh, yeah, because I had to spend a lot of time grinding and backtracking. But, you know, I still enjoy that game because, like, it's fun to just, like, go around and, like, be in the digital world in this online game and, like, being able to, like, raise the Digimon the way that you can, and, like, the different branching evolutions and stuff. The combat's not even that good because, like, every animation is basically the same, and it's, like, really shallow, but, like, I don't know, I have fun with it. And then as far as, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, just to, like, give examples of what I'm talking about, like, that game, the graphics are, like, really, like, just monotonous because everything takes place on this like, and I did a let's play for this too, on the same like board when you're in the duels. And even then, like, it's a 2003 game, and if you like go into like the actual like 3D battles, like they're nothing special. And it's a short game, and it's really, really RNG heavy. And yet, I don't know, there's just something, even though it's like a super like basic game mechanically, because it's literally just war with monsters attached to them with points. Like, there's just something fun about like fusing stuff together and then like drawing to your hand size and then like just crushing your opponents with really cool music playing. Like, I don't know, these are not great games, and I could go on, but the point is like, you can love a game and it doesn't have to be a good game, and you can also not like a game even though it is considered a very good game. And for me, that would probably be like the Grand Theft Auto games for the most part. Like, I have tried so many times to play those games, and I agree with a lot of people that they're objectively really good games, but you will just never see me play them very often because, like, I don't know, I can never get into them. Like, I've played them here and there. I played a little bit of Grand Theft Auto 3, that was my gateway. Played a little bit of Grand Theft Auto 4, quite a bit more 4 actually. Like, I'll have fun with it, but like, I just can't get into it enough to actually like play it seriously. But like, I know they're good games, and I'm not going to say that they're bad games just because I don't like them. But that's the thing, is like, I think on the internet, it's really hard to find someone who's willing to say that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's really hard to find someone that's like, oh, I don't like this game, but it's pretty good. Or I like this game, but it's pretty bad. Like, I don't see that often, even though it's very possible.
All right, hot take. Grand Theft Auto sucks. All the games suck.
Golf Tournament Adventures.
Golf Tournament Adventures, baby!
That's what you buy
That's
them
what
for.
I like to play. That's what I'm here for. Play golf. All the shit around the golf sucks ass. Get out of here.
But yeah, how do you guys feel about that sort of like point?
The point that you can enjoy things that aren't necessarily objectively good.
Yeah, like, yeah, like, just
Yeah,
come on.
I agree with that.
You're
Yeah, Jack.
Well,
What's
okay,
your thoughts?
I mean, I feel like there's plenty. I know the internet is like, you only hear like the most negative of opinions blasted into your eyeballs because that's what people feed off of. They just feed off of negativity, and like talking shit on things is fun. But like, you can still enjoy things that are, you know, the internet doesn't like, that are, I mean, you know, maybe it has some problems, but doesn't mean you can't have fun with it despite what.
Like, what's a game that you would say like a lot of people would say just isn't very good, but like you still like really like?
Sonic Adventure 1. That is my go-to answer every single time, because objectively, there's a lot of shit wrong with it.
It's a pretty good answer.
It's a
Pretty bad game.
It hasn't aged the best. I'll say that much.
Hey!
But no, I can play through that game in one sitting, like zero issue, like at pretty much any time of year. Just like, yeah, I'll sit down and play through all of Sonic Adventure 1. It's not a great game, but I still enjoy it enough to play through all of it. So, there you go. And a lot of people like to say that game sucks, including Landon.
Because it does.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Easy.
Lennon, do you have a game like that?
No, all games that I like are perfect in every way. There's not a single game that I think is...
Okay.
Landon came to the table ready to play the villain.
What about Arc-Rise Fantasia?
That game is a perfect 10 out of 10.
What about Sonic and the Black Knight?
Perfect 10 out of 10. Has combat.
What about Racketeer and Item Shop's Tale?
That game's a perfect 5 out of 10. Has combat.
It does have
Damn,
combat.
Al said GameSpot gave Yu-Gi-Oh! Falsebound Kingdom a 3, and he really likes that game. I haven't played Falsebound Kingdom. I've wanted to. It's part of that whole trilogy of like weird Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. You got Forbidden Memories, Duelist of the Roses, and then Falsebound Kingdom. Still gotta play that one.
Okay, I'll start with a general one on video games. We're at a point where we have like reached the realism graphical peak and we should not try to strive any further than how far we've already come. Like, video game graphics peaked in 2016 with Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and that game took maybe 4 years to develop. I don't know when they started it exactly, but it was main team Naughty Dog, and they did put out The Last of Us in 2013. So, like, I don't know, man. How realistic do we need to get? Like, how many thousands of hours do we need people to be developing these games so that the water graphics are absolutely perfect, and so that the horse hair looks stunning? I don't fucking know. But games take too long to develop, and you hear way too often about games that took a long-ass time to develop, about people who experienced like shitty working conditions when developing these games. And I think a root cause of that is trying way too hard to make these games look as pretty and realistic as possible. So
yeah, like the games are trying to be
back
too
on
hard
that shit.
to be. Like the games are trying too hard to be cutting edge when there's not much edge left to cut.
Like there is no reason for a game to take longer than like 5 years to develop. If you're working with like a AAA studio, you know, like obviously like some indie games that are made with like 1 or 2 people will take longer in some cases, but as far as like AAA developed and published titles, like going back to Grand Theft Auto, Grand Theft Auto 6 still isn't out, and it's been 12 years since Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, what the fuck is taking them so long? And I don't even give a shit about Grand Theft Auto. Like, this is coming from someone who, like, doesn't really have too much of a horse in the race one way or the other. Like, Grand Theft Auto is fine, but I don't really go out of my way to play the new games when they come out. But, like, why is it taking them 13 years to put this game out?
They had to work on the poop mechanics from Red Dead Redemption 2 for horses.
True.
So you have
The
to take
poop
out
mechanics are
that chunk of time.
You know what? Take back everything I said. The poop mechanics are important. You got to have those
Yeah.
in games.
Yeah,
even if
that's
it takes
the real
10
cutting
years.
edge we need to chase. It's not that we need to stop chasing the cutting edge. We need to start chasing the cutting edge that matters, and that's poop textures.
That's probably not.
Poop textures.
I mean, my opinion probably isn't a very hot take. I think it's generally agreed upon that, like, developers should not have shitty working conditions, and also games shouldn't take 13 years to release. But, you know,
I think the hot part of the take was how you opened it, though. Like the fact that like we need to stop trying to make every game look as realistic as possible on the hardware that we have.
I'll focus on that and say like hyper realistic graphics are boring. Like if I want like really
There's the hot take.
Nice looking graphics, I could go outside. Just go to a fucking go to a fucking nature preserve or something.
Now you're spitting.
Like,
all right,
I agree though.
I feel like you can have beautiful areas and like, hold on, let me finish my thing. You can have like beautiful looking areas and like sprawling nature and still have it look like pretty good without putting too much effort into the graphics. Like Xenoblade, for example. Gorgeous world in that game. Every area is stunning, and I was blown away by every goddamn part of that game when I first played it on the Wii. And the Wii is not a very powerful system. So I feel like you can elicit that emotion of like, wow, this game looks crazy, without like putting too much effort into the graphical part of the game. You know what I mean? Is that
Yeah.
coming across at all?
I get what you mean.
Sick.
It's kind of more like just the artistic design, not so much the how many pixels of textures can we shove in.
All right,
this game.
I'll TLDR it. Artistic expression or artistic design in visuals is more important than realism. Of course, there's different situations where one would call for one side. A specific game would call for one side more than the other. Like, I don't think Until Dawn would hit quite as hard if it was like hyper cartoony and weird looking, but like it doesn't have to look amazing, you know? It doesn't have to be like 100% like real life.
Yeah, you don't have to have that rock that's like 50 miles off in the distance having like textures at like 4K, 8K resolution in order for the game to like look good as it needs to. I got you.
Okay, that's my opinion. Landon, you go now.
I want to hear one from Landon as well.
Oh, I didn't come with anything because I've been raising 2 children. So my
Oh.
hot take is,
You wanted to bounce off of us this
children.
episode?
Children are hard
You're
to
hot.
raise.
Children are hard to raise. They suck up all your time. Hot take: Balatro on mobile is fun. Mobile
Is that a
gaming
hot take?
Is that a hot
can
take?
be enjoyable.
I legitimately don't know if that's a
don't know.
hot take or not.
Probably not.
No, I
It's
think a lot
Balatro.
of people play Balatro on mobile.
I think a lot of people play it on PC as well. So who knows?
Okay. All right. I have another one. I think people overvalue how people put too much value into how long a game is and how much content there is in it.
I have the same one. I worded
think-
it differently.
I think a short game can have just as much of an impact as a long game in a shorter span of time. And obviously there are some cases where you want a certain genre of game to be on the longer side just to feel like you have a sense of progression. Obviously I prefer a JRPG to be longer than 10 hours, but a lot of games, especially more cinematic ones, I feel like you can just make it 10 to 12 hours, and that would be perfect. To go back to Uncharted 4 again, that game is fucking that game, shut the fuck up, Landon. That game is fucking phenomenal, and it's only 10 to 11 hours long, or 12, I don't remember exactly, but it's not super long. And it's...
Yeah, no, I agree. I put this on here, and I summarized it as game length does not equal value.
I literally put game world size does not, or game length does not equal game quality.
Yeah, and basically how I thought about it is basically it's similar to how you worded it. I think that it really depends on the genre, what you're looking at, but it's not always about the game length. And I'm coming from the whole realm of I play a lot of RPGs, especially lately. But the game does not have to be super long for it to be really good. 3D platformers I can be a little picky about nowadays because I really like a good platformer, but I feel like some of them are trying to pack so much content, and then I'm I don't know if I want to spend that much time on a platformer.
Yeah.
I'd rather play just a little. I'd rather just play a shorter platformer and just be oh, I had a blast playing that. Than oh, hey, there's a million different collectibles and a bajillion different extra levels that you should do, and that overwhelms me. Sometimes I just want a nice short platformer.
I agree with that. I think there are some games that have too much content in them. To shift it. Okay. Okay, Landon, shaking your head.
Landon's shaking his head.
Nah,
there
not
are
enough content.
There are some, and this kind of boils down to a lot of open world games, but there are some open world games that just have too much content in them. You can beat probably the main story in a reasonable amount of time, but there are just so many goddamn collectibles and shit that you need to do for completion's sake. And I get it, it's all optional, but I have never given a fuck about getting all of the Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild, and I'm not trying to shit talk Breath of the Wild, but there's so fucking many Korok seeds. I don't remember the exact number, but isn't it 700 something? I'm gonna look that up.
I was gonna say I don't remember. I know one of the games it was closer to 1,000, but I don't remember if that was Tears of the Kingdom. or not.
I think Tears of the Kingdom. To over 1,000.
There are 900 Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild. I thought I was overselling it. I was underselling it. 200 or 900.
And I agree. I don't have a problem with Breath of the Wild so much though, because Breath of the Wild, it's pretty much that is the bulk of the extra side stuff that you can do. But like that's one of the reasons why I still haven't finished my playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom is just because there's so much. Like I've said this before, but like sometimes a game can have such a thing as too much content to do. Because
Sometimes
I mean, I'm
games
not
are
a complete
overwhelming.
like I'm not even like a completionist anymore. But like even so much as like trying to get through a game and get as much content as I want out of it, sometimes I get overwhelmed because like, oh, there's so much of it and I would like to try to engage with it, but there's so much of it I don't even know if I can handle it. Like I think quite a lot of people went into like Persona 5 with that mindset of like there's too much game here because it's such a long game that like that's why I put it off for months when I got it back in like 2017. Like I bought it in like pretty much right after it came out and I'm like I don't know when I'm going to get to this. And like I finally did later that year because I wanted to play it because everybody was saying it was great. But like I had it and I was like I don't know when I'm going to get to this. This is a 100-hour game. Just the story. Like this is a 100-hour investment. And like
Yeah.
even with JRPGs, like I love a good long meaty JRPG. Sometimes you really need to be ready for the commitment. Like you got to get in the mindset. And like that's not always something that I think everyone is willing to do, and they don't have to be willing to do. Like they shouldn't have to force themselves if they don't want to, like in order to get all that. But yeah, no, I agree. Like the game, it depends on like which genre we're talking about, but like it's not always about like how long a game is. Sometimes it's just like the experience you got with it in the time you spent is what matters.
I remember specifically there was a time when I was working at Meyer back in the day, and I was working in electronics, and there was a guy who was looking for a recommendation for a new shooter, and I'm like, oh, play Doom 2016, because it had like just come out a couple months ago. This is one of the best fucking games of the year, and it is a blast to play from start to finish. And he's like, oh, how long is it? And I'm like, well, I think he asked first. He's like, does it have multiplayer? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, it has multiplayer, but like, the focus and the bulk of the game is in its single player. And he's like, well, how long is it? And I'm like, about 15, 16 hours ish. Depends on if you collect everything. And he's like, oh, that's it? And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? That is like a good length for a game.
That's a decent size.
And
like, for that kind of game.
I don't remember what he ended up buying, but I'm pretty sure it was like Call of Duty or something. Like he just wanted a fucking multiplayer game. I think I like. I'll shift to a slightly a different hot take. I like multiplayer in games, but I feel like local multiplayer is severely undervalued in modern gaming. There are like way too many games where it's like Fortnite, and you play online and you play with 1,000 people in one game, and it's like, oh, it's amazing. But like, I don't know, man. I like playing a game on the couch with my friends, and there's not enough games out there that like focus on that anymore.
But
yeah, there's not
people
nearly
don't leave their house, Jack. People just don't leave their house.
Yeah, sometimes.
It's just how it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
I have one, actually.
Okay, go for it.
It's a little more specific, though. I'm going to get to, like, a specific genre of game.
Okay.
And this goes back to, like, I've been big on RPGs lately, and there's something that I've noticed, like, the RPG gaming community kind of, like, bashing on quite a lot, and it's 2025, so I get why people, like, look down on it, but grinding in RPGs does not have to be bad. It's not a negative thing inherently. And I'm so sick of people talking about grinding in RPGs like it is immediately a bad thing. It depends on what you're doing with that time, but I think that sometimes grinding in RPGs, if it's done, if the pacing of the game, the encounter rates and everything, if all that's handled well, like, it's going to feel more like you're just experiencing more of what the game and the world has to offer and less like a chore. Like, Dragon Quest, I've never felt like grinding was a problem in those games because I love encountering new enemies and finding nooks and crannies everywhere all over the worlds. And, like, It's just part of the game that I'm going to get into a bunch of encounters. I'm going to be fighting a lot of monsters. I'm going to be leveling up a lot in order to move on. And it's fine because I'm having a blast because of that world building makes it enjoyable. I do not think that a game has to be, oh, this game's grindy, so it sucks. It's not fun. It's like, that's not necessarily true. Like, there's a lot of games that have like bestiaries, like Monster Tamers or earlier Final Fantasies that have it added in. Where like searching out the monsters and like trying to kill them and like fill that out and complete it. Like, that's part of the fun. And that's technically a grindy thing. But like, it's fun as long as the encounter rate is not like every few steps. Like, you can, it's something that's enjoyable even though it'd be considered grinding. I'm surprised Landon hasn't chimed in on this one. No, nothing?
Hold on.
I want to hear your thoughts on something!
Well, Jack moved on before I could chime in on the last one. I don't even remember what he said in the last one.
He was talking about multiplayer.
Oh.
And I remember you were just like, yep.
Yep, I love multiplayer. They need more online multiplayer. No, so grinding in video games, is it good or bad? Ooh. I don't know. There are times where I'm fine with it, and then there's times where I get stuck on a boss, and like the only thing to do to like get to where I can beat it is like level up 20 times, and like it takes like an hour to an hour and a half to level up once. I don't want to do that. Like having to grind out those levels is not fun at that point. So it just kind of depends on like what the context of the grind is.
Well, yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's what I guess I'm agreeing with you is like I don't want, like, I do not want to finish SMT Strange Journey Redux because it would take me multiple hours to get to the point where I could potentially be like attempt the final boss. So I just dropped the game.
Because what's a game where like the grinding was fine? Because that's the point I'm trying to make. Is like there's games that's okay. That's the hot take I'm trying to make.
Well, I'm trying to debunk your hot take because that's my point.
Yeah, but what's the point of this podcast if we're just gonna like?
I don't know.
I mean, hey, I guess somebody's got to play villain.
My hot take is your hot takes are lukewarm at best. So games that I've enjoyed grinding in, I would say most of the Trails games, because I enjoy like filling out the bestiary, but they also like give you stuff for that usually. Like there's some sort of reward. Sometimes it's just a trophy, but a lot of times those in-game trophies, when you do New Game Plus, like you can carry over more things. So like that's sort of the offset of like filling out the bestiary throughout a lot of the Trails games. The entirety of Dragon Quest 1 is just to grind to like level 40 to beat the final boss, but there's a really good, like, it feels like a good adventure the whole time. So it doesn't feel like you're just like grinding up to level 40, even though that is literally what you're trying to do.
Level
but that
40?
game is...
Did they expand the level cap in one?
Oh, maybe it's
I remember
30.
It used to be 30, but it might have been increased. I don't know.
It must be 30 then. I'm just like, you have to obtain like a high level to like take on the final boss in that game to like really survive. Let's see. I enjoyed grinding in Arc Rise Fantasia because I liked the combat system was fun, but two, like unlocking the extra abilities for a lot of the weapons required you to like grind up certain amount of like weapon points for every like weapon. So you would like, I would just get into fights and like grind that, but that was just to like broaden out my repertoire of like weaponry for all the characters. So I enjoyed doing that, even though it's not required. but it's something I did. So there are times where that is. But then you have games like Bravely Default, where the entire back half of the game is just a huge grind. And I would say that game is grindy, and I don't care for like the back half of Bravely Default, even though I really like the combat system in that game. So, and like individual fights are fun.
I'll add to that, like, grinding is something that can be a turnoff for me. It depends, really. If it feels like I'm making a lot of good progress and, like, I don't know, there's a lot of factors that can go into making grinding less tedious, whether it be having a fun combat system or having a wide variety of wacky enemies or having a good combat theme or just the combat itself is fun. But I sometimes there just comes a point in an RPG where I'm like, all right, well, I'm kind of bored of grinding, and it becomes like I need to have something on in the background while I grind to, like, satiate my boredom. So I guess that's my counterpoint. It's not really a counterpoint, but, you know, I'm picky on that particular subject of grinding.
I think it just comes down to the amount of hours you want to, like, put into it versus like what you want to, like, when you feel like you can move on from it. Because like I said, like, there's like SMT Strange Journey is one, but like Xenoblade Chronicles X is another, where like I got to the final boss and I was like way under leveled, and like to get to that level would take so many hours, and it just like wasn't worth it to me. So it's just like, that's the payoff. Like, is the amount of time I'm going to spend to get there, like, worth whatever, like, the end result is. So I think that's sort of like the decision people have to make when it comes to, like, grindiness of a video game.
Yeah. I have some more specific stuff I could say. You know what, actually, I'll say something a little more general. I think there are some games that are released kind of half-baked, and then they put out like 1,000 DLC packs.
Is that a hot take? That's a really that's a cold take.
Is it?
Like, that's literally that's literally a thing that like a lot of people online are always like complaining about.
I guess
a lot of people online are always like, "Oh, I'm sick of these games not coming out finished."
I mean, I guess I would
very
say
popular thing.
I would rather like them just make a second game with the same engine rather than put out like 1,000 DLC packs and end up making the game cost like 4 times as much as the original price. Like,
basically, he's saying
fighting games are really guilty of this.
He just wants Xenoverse 3. That's all he's saying. That's his hot take.
Yeah.
Jack wants Xenoverse 3.
That's what he wants.
Hey, I bought Xenoverse 2 on launch day.
You did.
But
then the amount of DLC they put out for the game has turned him off of it. Xenoverse 2 is a terrible game. That's what Jack is saying.
You know what? Sure.
Okay.
That's not what I'm saying. I will say that, like, doing something like that is, like, will make me not want to play the game, because then I'll feel like I'm missing out if I don't have, like, all of the fucking added content. And shit. Alright, I don't know. This isn't really a hot take. I'm gonna just throw out a specific one. I like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet more than Legends Arceus.
Yeah.
That is a hot take, actually.
There we go.
Al said he doesn't like when some games lock things behind grinding to a really high number that you wouldn't reach without actively going for it. Like 750 preemptive brave attacks in Trails in the Sky first chapter.
Hell yeah, damn, brother. That's what I love doing that.
What the
Going
fuck?
out of my way every single moment to do a brave attack. I love doing that shit. That's the grind
That's
I'm here for. Nonsense.
That's crazy.
I will, before we leave that point though, I do want to make a counterpoint. And this is actually a hot take because I know a lot of people do not feel that way. And I'm not saying that there's not things wrong with this practice, but I actually believe that fundamentally, DLC is a net positive. Let hear me out.
No.
Okay, go for it.
I'm gonna close my ears right now.
Okay.
La 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 la.
Okay, I've opened my ears.
Okay. I'm good.
He's better.
No. Go on. I want to hear about it.
So so DLC obviously fundamentally a lot of people don't like it, and there are companies that obviously specifically plan for DLC, so they'll hold back stuff from a base game. Like, that's not a thing that doesn't happen. It's a thing that happens. Yes, I get it. But here's the thing. The DLC is often in-game design stuff that... So when a game is being made, especially by like a larger team, there's going to be a lot of stuff that, like, in their vision of what the game is going to become, they have to cut certain ideas. And in the past, before DLC was a thing, if you were lucky, that would just end up in a sequel. Like Jack said, just make a sequel, just make another game that has all this extra stuff you would have put on it. But a lot of the time, you were not lucky, and there just was no other game, there was no other content. What they planned for and what they, whatever they cut was just gone and lost, and you weren't going to see it. And you got the game that they gave you because that was the vision, like that was the most complete vision of what they were trying to make. With DLC, they can both take those ideas that they weren't quite able to really manifest in the game and add it to the game later. And because they have to have people to work on that DLC, it actually gives more people jobs in the industry by having a smaller team that can devote themselves to that they wouldn't normally have for any, like, they wouldn't have anything else to do because the DLC wouldn't exist otherwise. So I feel like it depends on the game. There's games where, like, obviously, like EA and shit like that, like, they're horrible about this. Like, I'm not saying that, like, this is a perfect practice, but, like, there's stuff like the smaller stuff like Splatoon 2 and I'm not even talking about like just like the free updates, like the Octo expansion, or with Zelda Breath of the Wild and like the expansion pass for that. Like, that is content that, like, that would have just never showed up at all. Like, they would have like taken that and they would have been like,
yeah,
this doesn't really fit for our vision of the game, and like you just wouldn't get it at all. But thanks to the fact that DLC is possible, they can take that idea and they're like, you know what, we can do something with this, and you get a bunch of new content for the game that you already like. And it can vary. It's not always like a huge scale thing. Sometimes it's like a Fire Emblem Awakening on 3DS thing where like you get a bunch of small little like extra chapters with like returning characters from like previous games, like how they added like Marth, and like you go to like this little spot to like unlock him and like a couple other characters. And like you might not see that otherwise if it weren't for the fact that they could update the game and add that stuff in later. And that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that like not every game is like DLC is a bad thing. Like, sometimes DLC can enhance the experience for someone who is really invested in the game by giving them more stuff to do in a way that's not overwhelming as well. It's like, now here, like, you've done this whole game, now here's some extra stuff that you can do on top of it. So, I'm picky about it, but I like it.
I think
sometimes.
You brought up Splatoon 2, and I think that's kind of like the optimal way for games to do DLC, because I'll admit that like Splatoon 1 was like basically an unfinished game when they released it, but they added a shitload of free updates and never forced anyone to pay anything extra for any of the added content in that game. They were just like, all right, here's some more content, here's new maps, here's new weapons, new hairstyles, new accessories, new whatever the fuck. And they reserved in Splatoon 2 specifically, they reserved the paid DLC for one that added in an entirely new, like, story mode, like a single-player, like, campaign that actually feels like it's worth paying the extra money for. Whereas, a bad example of DLC, a lot of fighting games do this, but it's one specific game that pisses me off, because I really enjoyed it when it came out, but I'm just endlessly waiting for, like, a complete edition to come out, is fucking Guilty Gear Strive. There were, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 characters on disc when the game came out. They have had 4 season passes since the game has released, and are still actively adding characters to this game.
Dragon Ball FighterZ is getting to that point too.
Yep.
Like, it makes me sad because, like, I love that game, like, mechanically, but I feel like I will never be able to go back to it because it'll never feel complete unless I spend dozens of extra dollars, like $100 some odd dollars, whatever it's going to cost, to get all this extra DLC, or wait for a deep sale that may or may not happen. It's like, but there's so many characters, but I'll never be able to use them.
You know how many DLC characters that Guilty Gear Strive has? 17. More than doubling the base cast, yes. And it's like each season pass costs like $30, and it's like fucking ridiculous.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
But guys,
yeah,
the jobs for ArcSoft to keep making this
Arc System.
Yeah, whatever.
They must have quite a few people that are like round the clock working on a lot of this stuff now, because they've got quite a few games now in the pipe where, like, they're doing this sort of thing.
Yeah.
What if
another? Oh, go ahead, Landon.
What if these companies had, like, I don't want to say some shit that some groups have said, but, like, I really wish we still lived in a time. This is probably not really much of a hot take, but I wish we lived in a time where it was still common practice to release a, like, Game of the Year or Complete Edition with the content on, like, a disc.
I agree.
Yeah.
That way I've got the majority or whole game at this point.
Yeah, it's like that was a very common thing back in, like, the PS3 360 era, where like a game would get like a few packs of DLC, and then they would release like a complete or Game of the Year edition. So it's like, oh hey, now people who like missed out on it the first time can have the entire game on a single disc, or two. Sometimes it's 2 discs. Sometimes they have like an install disc for the DLC. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think games should be doing that more.
Yeah, no, true.
And I
mean, that's not the hot take, but it's definitely something that, like, if we're gonna live in the age of DLC, and I'm fine with it for the most part, it's just gonna be a thing. Like, why can't we have more of that?
Yeah, I agree. I think that was really all I had to say.
Did you have something more specific you were bringing up, or you have another general one? We should go with something a little more specific, because I've definitely hit with quite a few general ones.
Yeah,
and I have another one that's general, but I'd rather wait until we get into something a little more specific.
All right,
Switch it up a little bit.
All right, I have a specific one. You know what? Let's Lennon, what's your opinion on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet versus Legends Arceus? Because I know you actually completed Scarlet and Violet.
I did.
He beat it. Yeah. Did you get? I don't remember if you. I think you didn't get you didn't do the DLC yet, but you played through the entire main story. Plus,
yeah, I haven't done the DLC, but I have done all of the main story at this point. I think, technically speaking, I mean, this goes back to what Cloud was saying. I think Legends Arceus is a better game that I don't want to play.
Yeah. But Scarlet and Violet is a worse game that you would rather play.
That I would rather play. And it's just because of how the Pokedex is handled and, like, that whole mechanic. And then, like, both of them are games I don't really want to play because they're just like, here's huge open areas for you to go fucking explore. And I'm just like, I don't have time for that. But that's just me and Pokemon. That's my Pokemon issue. current day Pokemon.
I was just
But yeah.
curious.
I
I think I would probably agree that objectively speaking, Scarlet and Violet is the worst game, but like I enjoyed my time with Scarlet and Violet more.
I think it just comes down to like the gameplay loop. Pokemon Scarlet Violet has more of a traditional like gameplay loop where Legends is trying something new, and if you're on board for that, cool. If it doesn't meet what you kind of want, then I think it's going to bounce off of you, and that's just where I'm at with it. I plan on going back and playing through it at some point. I'll probably just pick up where I left off on Legends, but I'll go back and like try and beat it at some point just to see if like it clicks with me. But that's something like some games just don't click with people.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that.
And sometimes it might take a couple times to try to get it to click, and then sometimes, it just never does.
Yeah. There have been times where I kind of have to, like, force myself through the early hours of a game just because I'm like, okay, I want to see it through and see if it gets interesting. And then it clicks at a certain point, and then it, like, starts flowing more and more, and I start, like, actively wanting to go out of my way to play it.
You know what? I think this is a good way to like bring up a new point that is a bit of a hot take, and that is that it is okay for a game to have to take a little time to get you going. There's so many people that I have seen bitch because it's taking too long for this game to really start. There's always like there's games where like the tutorial section, as they say, takes a little bit long, but like usually those opening hours is because like you need to get to learn the mechanics and stuff like that. And if you're not willing to learn the mechanics, how are you supposed to enjoy the game at all anyway? And sometimes a game can't do that in like the most fun way, but a lot of games, they try to put you in a situation where you can learn how it works, and then once it lets you out and lets you loose, like you can enjoy the game. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to do that. And like, it's fine if the game has to do that. Like a game sometimes has to do that, and it's okay.
I don't think it's necessarily an issue for like the early game of, we'll say, an RPG, because a lot of this time it's in RPGs that this happens, where like the first hour or two is kind of like railroady just to kind of get you used to the game's mechanics and like setting up the world and story and everything before it sets you free and lets you do your own thing.
We'll be fair. A lot of RPGs, it's a few hours because like they have the opening story segments that open you up to the world, and then also the mechanical tutorial that opens you up to how the game plays.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like Persona 5, it's the first 25 hours. And then after that, if you're still with us...
But after that, it gets good.
That's when it starts to maybe get good.
But like... So like one of my favorite games that I've played this year is Persona 4 Golden, and that game takes a hot minute for you to be able to even get into gameplay, let alone like actually start like learning how the game works.
Persona 5 is the same way, honestly. It takes a while before you get into a dungeon.
It takes a long time, but like once you get in there, because of the length of the rest of the game ahead of you, and because of the solid foundation they built, like the rest of the game, you're just going, and it's just like everything's clicking. You're learning, you're getting a little bit more and more stuff to do as you progress, and it's that necessary evil. You got to get that opening hours, and you got to eat your veggies, and then you can have the full course. Like it's fine.
I think it's... Where was I going with this? It really depends. I mean, in RPGs, I think it's necessary to have, like, kind of a slow intro to the game just to kind of acquaint you with everything. But, like, obviously it depends on, like, the size of the game, because, a shorter game, like, say, a platformer or, like, an action game, that can throw you right in at the beginning, and you can kind of figure everything out, because it's going to be a little more, like... straightforward in terms of progression. It's going to be a little bit more like, I think, because like just due to the nature of RPGs, having like a slow intro is kind of necessary to get you like into the groove of the gameplay loop. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, yeah, Persona 4 Golden definitely has a slow start, but like, I never really mind when I'm playing it because like, you know, once the game opens up, it, you know, becomes really fun. And like, I've immersed myself in this world.
I think a game that's not an RPG where like this sort of thing is like it's like I think I really think of is the couple of 3D Zeldas that I've like really grown attached to. They have like that segment where like in the opening where you're kind of railroaded for quite a bit. In Ocarina of Time, it's you're stuck in Kokiri Forest and you don't really have the rest of the open like area with Hyrule Field and everything to explore yet. You have to do this section uh, with the Great Deku Tree and everything. But it gets you acquainted with characters, the atmosphere of the game, and you can kind of like in a safe place learn how the game is going to play out. And then with Breath of the Wild, it's your opening island before you get the paraglider and can actually like go off into like the rest of the open world. And that it's a little, you know, it's a little bit of time you got to spend on those segments, but like you get rewarded for it because that payoff is when you get into that big wide open area. It's like just kind of a rush of like, now you've got this huge world to explore and this like huge journey out ahead of you. And like you couldn't get that sensation if the game just dropped you right in. I don't think, like, I feel like the payoff wouldn't be quite as good.
I don't know. It's really fun to get dropped into Zelda 1 and have the entire map to just run around in.
That's true.
It is, until you wander off into like one random section that you probably shouldn't have, and then you get like ganked by a fucking bunch of enemies that you weren't prepared for, and then you just die, and then you have to go all the way back to the beginning.
But then you get into like the argument.
Good at the video game from the start.
Then you just get into the argument of like how much direction is too much direction, and like how much is too little.
Yeah.
Where like it just kind of drops you in and just says have fun. It's like, what am I doing? Please help.
No help.
And then an old man tells you it's a secret to everybody.
Yeah. Take this.
Anyway.
Take this.
Let's see. Speaking of Zelda, I have a specific Zelda hot take written down that does not involve Zelda 1. And I've probably mentioned it several times before, but it's a game that the good chunk of the franchise, or good chunk of the fan base, really loves to gas up, especially the older fans. Link to the Past is overrated. I think that 2D Zeldas like okay, I understand for the time, it being the third game in the franchise, it was like pretty crazy to have that much of a quality jump from the first two games, and I get that. But 2D Zeldas have only gotten better over time, I think. Like and this is coming from me. I recently played Minish Cap not too long ago for the stream, and I enjoyed that. I mean, I already knew Minish Cap was my favorite 2D Zelda game, but like with a fresh playthrough in my mind, I enjoyed that game way more than I enjoyed Link to the Past when I did that for the channel. Like, parts of Link to the Past are kind of a slog, and not all of the dungeons are very good. Some of them are pretty annoying.
Quick, rank every single 2D Zelda so I can judge you.
God, don't ask me to do that.
I just did. It's too late.
Oh, fuck. Minish Cap is the best one. Zelda 2 is the worst one.
No.
Everything in between is kind of a wash.
Whew.
All right, Landon, why don't you tell us your opinion on Ocarina of Time? Your famous opinion on Ocarina of Time.
Is my opinion on Ocarina of Time really a hot take?
No. I mean, yes. In general, yes.
It's slightly less of a hot take as it used to be, but it's still pretty hot take.
I was going to say, eventually my take will be the norm take. One day. Enough people will die off that.
In the distant future.
Yeah.
But
I'm just thinking 3 light years. Light years. That's distance. That's not time. Folks.
That's not time. Don't fall for the youngster in Brock's gym saying that you're light years from Brock.
I am not. Well,
how many?
Depends on how many light years I am from Brock.
It's like 0.0000000.
I think he says 1,000.
I know he does,
or something
but
like
that's,
that. He's
that's
like-
incorrect. I am
Very
not
much incorrect.
I am not
You're
a
like
1,000
10
light
feet
years
from-
from rock, but
You're like 10 feet away from
yeah,
him.
it's a little bit different. I am 3 millennia from. That's what I meant to say. 3 millennia from my opinion being the norm. I think on Ocarina of Time. I think
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time baseline is a fine game, but like Jack said, it is a formula that has been like improved upon. You know, sometimes we go a little but there has been like enough iteration on this formula that it is not the gold standard anymore.
Like just because a game invented a formula does not necessarily automatically make it the best one that did the formula. And while something like Twilight Princess might not be as original, in fact, a lot of people at the time complained that it was like just ripping off of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
It's not really, honestly. I feel like it does enough unique that it like separates itself from Ocarina of Time. But like, in a lot of ways, Twilight Princess is better. In some ways it's worse, but in a lot of ways it's better. And I think that just because Ocarina of Time was like the first one to have the 3D Zelda formula doesn't make it the best one.
It's like saying
Okay.
Mario 64 is the best 3D platformer.
Because it was the first one. And it's like,
No.
okay. Have you tried Gex? Have you opened your eyes to Gex?
You know,
Here's the hot take. Gex.
Gex. That's it.
That's
the
it.
hot
That's,
take.
that's the take.
it's
Gex.
that's the take. Just Gex. One thing I have been thinking about for a while, and like it wasn't something that I really thought about today until like you mentioned, but I'm not saying that like the games from the past are going to be like the quintessential versions of the formula, but I do think that there's quite a few series where if somebody wants to get into the series, like even if they play like a later entry first, like I do think that there's more series out there where like people should be willing to play like the earlier entries and like see where the series evolved, because there's a lot of people online that'll be like, oh, you don't need to play these earlier entries because these ones are just better. And it's like, that doesn't, like, if you really want to like get into a series, if you want to become a fan of a series, you have to understand where it evolved from. Like, you're never gonna appreciate the advancements of like Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic Mania if you don't play Sonic 1 at some point to be like, oh, these games are way better because they did this stuff better than Sonic 1. You won't be able to see that contrast. Or like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like if you play like Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, or like Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Black and White, and like you really like them, but like if you aren't willing to try Red and Blue, like you won't see like, oh, these games were here and then they got to this point. Or, you know, just various series. Like, I'm not saying like every series is like this, but I feel like there's quite a few series where you should be willing to try out the earlier entries to appreciate their evolution.
I think that's fair. I would agree with that, but I also think there are some cases where that is not necessarily mandatory. I think if you want to like dive deeper into a series, then yeah, like definitely play the early entries, but like no one is going to recommend like Call of Duty Finest Hour to anyone.
Well, no.
Like,
but
I
like
will.
I'm not thinking about like series like Call of Duty or like Madden NFL or anything like that, where like you can pick up pretty much any of them and you're gonna get the gist of it. But like I'm sure that there's quite a few people that like are gonna be like playing like, I mean, I haven't played it yet. I've heard good things about the game itself, like put whatever every nonsense like outside of the game has been going on, but like I've heard some decent things about Borderlands 4, and Borderlands 4 is coming out so much later than like after the first one. Like there's like a 15-year gap between these two games. There's literally going to be people that are playing Borderlands 4 and like they've never played Borderlands 1. But like if you really want to appreciate how the series has been able to like continue on, like you should probably play Borderlands 1 at some point. Is like the same is the thing I'm trying to say. Like
Yeah, it's like, no,
changed over time.
Sometimes the early entries in a series are like forgotten to time, and I think they
Sad.
should be like recognized in some cases.
I think they should stay in their grave and be happy about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hot take.
One series that I think is like really easy to like play the earlier entries, and it's not a series that has evolved quite as much over time, but I still think like if you play like the newer Kirby games, like you can set aside an afternoon and play like Kirby's Dream Land 1, 2, 3, Superstar or whatever, and like understand like this series started like here and has made it to this point, or like I don't know, like
I think for
I think
Kirby, it should be mandatory to play Dream Course.
I
Call
agree.
yourself a
You
Kirby
need
fan.
get
You have to play
get a friend.
Dream Course.
Get a friend, play a round of Kirby's Dream Course, watch your friendship crumble.
Yeah. That's why Jack and I are only business acquaintances now.
I have one last hot take before, and then like you guys can go at it with whatever anything else you have to add in. And this is probably like the hottest take I've got.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
60 FPS is not necessary for the vast majority of games, and I am sick of people saying otherwise.
You're right.
Yes,
it is not. We need 120 frames per second. All video games.
What? Why stop there? We need 360 frames per second.
I don't even think that games reach that yet, like for the vast majority. I think like the standard like high tier is like 240. We need to get 360 frames.
It depends on how strong your machine is and how old of a game you're playing. I've seen
Yeah,
FPS
true.
numbers go up that high before.
That's true. But I mean that's like retrofitting like an old game with like a higher frame rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want current. If Grand Theft Auto, I don't know which one are we on. 6, 7, 12?
6.
We're about to go
3.
on 6
Okay.
next year.
All right. Grand Theft Auto
We'll see.
6. If that does not have, would you say 360? I want 480 frames per second for the Switch 2 version. Dead in the water. It's not even worth it.
Yep.
Not worth it.
And it better
What's the
be on
point?
fucking cartridge too.
Better be on cartridge. Regular ass cartridge, not a game key card.
Not a game key card.
Oh goodness.
Here's a hot take. Does anyone else think that game key cards suck?
Wow. You're so brave.
Laugh.
Yeah, he's so brave. Look at him come out.
Yeah,
like, I
don't
think
know.
that I think there's like a
What did
few
you say?
instances where like
Oh, it's
like really
frame rate, right?
like really competitive like fighting games that like require all of that precision, like that's something where yes you do need more frames, but like I think that the vast majority of games, like even the ones that people say like oh you need 60 FPS, like platformers most of the time you don't. Like you can get like 60 FPS is awesome to have, but like there's so many platform. I don't think I played a single platformer where if it was 30 frames per second and not 60, like it would have been a total deal breaker. I think like most of them, the vast majority of them, probably almost all of them would have been totally fine. A little bit to get used to, but fine. And honestly, like 99% of RPGs do not need 60 FPS. I'd much rather that the game had a higher resolution and just keep a stable frame rate and look prettier, because that'll keep my attention more when I'm doing a lot of like less action intensive stuff. I think that games that are like more exploratory and slower paced, like horror games or survival games, like those don't need 60 FPS. It'd be nicer to have prettier, higher res visuals, because that'll pull you into the world more, because you'll be able to do more with that. Like you don't need 60 FPS for most games. You don't. Just make the game run nice and look pretty, and if you can get a smoother frame rate, cool. If you don't need it. Don't need it.
I can't even
Yeah,
see past 10 frames per second with my eyeballs, so I don't see what the point of going past that is.
I think
Like I
as
can
long
tell the difference, but like I don't care most of the time.
I think as long as like you said, as long as the frame rate is consistent and there aren't any like major drops, then yeah, the difference between 30 and 60 is kind of whatever. Like like there's a lot of PC nerds who will like shit their pants and complain online when a game is anything less than 60, but does it really matter that much?
I was reading comments that some people were like, oh, I am not going to get Digimon Story Time Stranger because 30 FPS is unacceptable. I was like, really?
Those are my favorite type of comments.
Do you 30
have
and like these people are unironic. Yeah, they were like unironic. They were like, this is a deal breaker. There's no reason this game shouldn't be 60 FPS. Let me ask a question, Jack. You're enjoying Persona 3 Reload a lot, right?
Uh-oh.
Yep.
You're playing it on PS4, right?
Yep.
That game runs in 30 FPS on PS4.
Unplayable.
Yep. I highly doubt you're experiencing any difference that is meaningful.
It literally, I mean, all right, here's another example. I mean, I will say, when you enter what are the big red doors in Tartarus called?
Oh, the monad doors.
Yeah, sometimes when you go to those doors, there's a little bit of frame slowdown, but like, for the most part, the game runs perfectly fine on PS4. Here's another one, Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, on Switch. I played that entire game on Switch in 30 FPS, and it ran like a fucking dream. Like, I'm honestly shocked that it ran as well as it did, because, like, I know the Switch versions of Sonic games are often considered, like, the lesser versions compared to the more powerful systems or PC, but it really just goes to show, as long as it runs smoothly, the difference between 30 and 60 is, like, negligible. Or, I wouldn't say negligible, it's noticeable, but it's not important.
Yeah. And like Sonic Generations on PS3 and 360 back in the day was a 30 FPS game because they realized they couldn't really get away with the 60 FPS with the problems they had with Unleashed on PS3. So they were like, all right, fuck it, 30 FPS. I didn't give a shit. Like, it felt perfectly fine. Like, I never complained about that.
There were a couple of moments in base Generations on PS3 with some slowdown, but like, again, it's like not really a big deal.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. I mean, like, I think we all agree on that, but like the general gaming public
is absolutely.
I mean, people were freaking out when Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door remake was in 30 FPS. It's like, a GameCube game can't run in 60 FPS on the Switch too? It's like, as if they didn't just like overhaul the entire game graphically.
No, they didn't do
and
that.
make everything like look a lot nicer and prettier. It's like
I guess the color saturation, the lighting engine, like I guess none of that matters because
I didn't give a shit that it was in 30 FPS. Like, honestly, I saw, like, it's a little noticeable at first, like, because I'm used to the GameCube. I was used to the GameCube version before playing the remake, but like, I got used to it so quickly. Like, it's very smooth. Like, I'd never experienced any like frame drops or anything in that game. And I think that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with 30 FPS.
All right. You guys have any other hot takes you'd like to share?
Yeah.
Hit us with one more.
Yeah, I got one. Handheld gaming is superior to console gaming.
All right. I want you to elaborate.
Oh, no.
Is it because you're a parent and that's what you're like more capable of playing right now?
I mean, to be fair, I always have like gravitated more towards like playing a portable system than a console system. But I think a lot of times they are cheaper than their home console counterpoints.
They're
and
cheaper,
the experience
and you can play
you're
them
getting
anywhere.
Yeah, you can play them anywhere, and then also like the experience you can get, especially today. You can get a full like home console experience on the go, like on a lot of like Steam Deck and the Switch 2 like offer you like a perfectly serviceable way to play these games. And I
Now,
don't.
we're not fans of them, but I mean, now you have Xbox stepping in you have like with their partnership with Asus, with the ROG Ally that just came out. There's a bunch of other PC handhelds too that have been doing stuff like Lenovo and shit.
Yeah. So I think that's the superior way to play video games, and it's not playing it on a PC. There, I said it.
Yeah.
Computer suck.
I agree. Like,
End of story.
I do love handheld gaming.
I like it because it's like, yes, and this ties back to the last point that we were talking about in a loose way about like frame rate difference. Is like, yes, you're going to have a performance difference by playing on a handheld because it has to account for battery conservation and what can it process with a smaller build, because obviously these handhelds can't go around with like the size of like an Xbox or a PlayStation. Like, then it kind of defeats the purpose of being able to take it with you. But like, that sacrifice makes up for the fact that just the world we live in is so much busier and a lot of people have to go places, and it's like, wouldn't you rather have the option to have that to play with you on your downtime than not, just because you wanted more flippus, whatever people the
Flippus.
the fippus.
The flippus.
Like, sometimes you could take a little less flippus and be able to play more, which honestly, that just means you get more flippus because you got more game time.
Oh.
There you go. And
There you go.
like you said, I do think there are some instances where FPS is like a 60 FPS is necessary. Fighting games, obviously, I can't do fighting games in 30 FPS. The input's got to be like really precise in those cases. I generally prefer if racing games are in 60, but it's not mandatory. It's just like it's literally just like a trick of the eye where it feels like I'm going faster because of the higher frame rate, but when in reality it's like doesn't really matter that much. And that's about it, honestly. Maybe like sports games, but like even then, I don't think that's like not super necessary.
How do you feel about handheld gaming?
Oh,
Are you a handheld gaming superior master race?
No, he hates it.
No, I hate it. Sorry, I thought we were still talking about frame rate.
No, I went back to it to like segue it to like help connect my 2 points, but like,
Okay, fair enough.
because of the performance difference that like people would probably shun portable gaming, but like you
I
can
think
play it anywhere, which means you get more time to play.
I think I don't have a strong preference. I think when I was a kid, I liked handheld gaming more, but as an adult, I find it kind of hard to focus on a game if I'm in a public setting. Like, there's not really a whole lot of there's not really a whole lot of like opportunities for me to even like play a game outside of the house, unless it's like I'm taking my Switch with me on vacation and I'm like playing it on the car ride. And even then, it's still like sometimes it's kind of hard to like focus and like keep my attention on the game. But I don't know, something about like I like handheld because like I can play something on my bed, I can play something in the bathroom, I can play something wherever the fuck. But like a lot of the time I end up just kind of playing my Switch 2 in docked mode. At least when I'm home anyway, because it's like might as well play it on a bigger screen if I'm home.
Not me. I'm flipping back and forth between those two like every single day of my life.
I don't think I've ever, outside of like streaming something, have played my Switch 2 docked.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think for like personal use, it has only been for handheld mode, because that's where I'm at. It's
That's the
handheld
life.
only.
That's the life you live now.
That is the life
And
everyone should live.
Everyone should.
I put this curse on both of you. Have fun.
Oh, okay.
All right. Any more last hot takes or?
I mean, we could just rattle off like the general like Gaming Stooges hot takes that we like all share the opinion of, but like we kind of say a lot. fuck The Witcher 3, fuck Elder Scrolls in general, fuck Grand Theft Auto. Landon already said that, but might as well say it again. Fuck, let's see, what else do we not give a shit about? Fortnite. Pretty much any like modern shooter that's popular. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have any other like major.
We're not
I've
mainstream
expensed my
gamers,
list.
in case anyone just wanted to know.
Nope.
I think our subscriber
Large-
count says that, like, confirms
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. All right.
We never try
Yeah.
to be anyone but us.
Exactly.
I try to be someone
All
else
right.
all the time.
Jack, can you do the honors of the housekeeping, because I have to get up for a second? Just two things.
Sure.
We have not put up the Patreon yet because we ended up doing a really long one, and I'm in the middle of editing that. And we haven't put up the poll for our next podcast, but it will be soon. And Jack, if you need to know the details, they are in our private chat.
I'm guessing they'll probably be up by the time that this podcast goes live on other platforms, but as of
God, I
right
hope
now,
so.
that is not the case.
Yes, they should be.
But anyway, hey, we have a Discord. You can join us on our Discord in the link below in our description, wherever you're listening to this. If you want to join, you're more than welcome to. We have a Patreon where we have two different tiers, the Silver Stooge tier and the Gold Stooge tier, which you can subscribe to get exclusive content, which by the time this goes up, we will have our Patreon video for the month of October up already. I guess I'll just say what it is since it's probably up by now. It's we did our Gen 6 Pokemon tier list where we tiered both the new original Pokemon and the Mega Evolutions that were introduced in Pokemon X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. We need to give a shout out to Al, who is our sole Gold Stooge member at the moment anyway. If you join our Gold Stooge tier, you get a shout out in addition to the other things that you get from subscribing to our Patreon. And if not,
and what are
that's cool.
those? What are those?
What are those? What, like videos? Like you get to vote on like upcoming streams,
Perfect. There we go.
upcoming podcast topics.
Yeah, you didn't say that. You said the content, but you didn't say.
I neglected to mention that. But yeah, you can vote on the content that you see on our stream. You can vote for our podcast topics. This one was not voted for, but it was one of the two options that we had the last time we had a poll. It was the loser, but
and then we have one coming up that should be it should be up by the time this is out.
Yeah.
And we are going to do a retrospective of one of 2 years. You get to decide between
You get to decide
2001
which year.
and 1997.
It'll be interesting because I wasn't like... It'll be interesting to talk about those years because I wasn't like closely following like either of those years in terms of gaming because I was a baby.
I think,
well, not a baby, but I was like a toddler.
I mean, I think there's enough games that you
oh yeah, no, for
like,
sure.
are in,
There's
like,
enough games that we
familiar
can-
with. Cause,
Oh yeah, no, there's plenty of games from both of those years that I've played. It's just that I didn't experience the entire year of gaming firsthand.
yeah.
You know?
Oh, I mean, neither did I.
But anyway, to wrap
Muted.
this up, we have streams right now. Currently, I and myself and Landon are streaming Metroid Zero Mission. We just got through the main game of Metroid 1, and we're into like the extra post Mother Brain content. So we're getting into that. And Cloud, and featuring myself, has been playing through Silent Hill for the PS on his very real PlayStation 1. We
Definitely.
cleared through the main game of Silent Hill just the other day, or just last week, I should say. And actually, yeah, it was last week. And we are
on the UFO
Currently
ending.
working towards getting the UFO ending. For Silent
The
Hill.
next Fear playthrough. It's
And I think that's everything. You can expect, perchance, another stream series for Spookfest before the month is over. We shall see.
Maybe.
by the time
If-
this goes out, you will have seen.
By
maybe
the time this goes out, you will know for sure whether it happened. But as far as live goes, stay tuned.
Be sure to check out the Discord for all of your announcements.
For
Also,
Yep.
for the week after this goes live, we might have some extra Dragon Quest streams going up. So,
yeah,
be on the Discord. We might do a little bit of a marathon as a catch-up
Nice.
for Dragon Quest IV, Chapters of the Chosen.
Nice.
so Jack, what you
Hi.
up to?
Boy, howdy, what have I been up to? Honestly, in the past 2 weeks, not much. I feel like I did the bulk of my, a lot of the stuff that I did over the last, before the last previous podcast. I literally don't even think I've been to, any shows since the last one. I mean, I went to a couple of locals, but it's not it wasn't a huge event or anything.
I was looking forward to helping Landon with DQ4 some more. Said he missed
Oh,
doing that.
I guess I saw Modest Mouse a few days
Oh,
after
shit,
the last
really?
podcast. Yeah, they were in Fort Wayne. The last it was the 10th, I think it was. Yeah, it was Modest Mouse and Built to Spill, which are two bands that I absolutely love, and it was really fun. I haven't seen Modest Mouse live since 2018, and they were good. I had a lot of fun. I've been playing more Persona 3 Reload. I've been trying to get back into the swing of that. I'm in the middle of September right now in that game. I'm trying to work my way to getting back into it. Unfortunately, I'm sick right now. It's not awful, but I am going through it a little bit. And also,
You got to take an off day and just plop down in a nice comfy position and just go.
yeah, it's sometimes I just I will admit, sometimes I get to a point where I'm all right, I need to go to Tartarus, and then it's all right, time to grind for a little bit. It's
Grinding?
we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll reach the whatever the current cap is for the block of Tartarus, and then I'll just be all right, time to go back through the last 12 floors over and over again to level up. And yeah. But I'm it's been going. I'm still working through it. I was playing a little bit of it earlier today. So
All right.
that's about all I got.
You want to hear a hot
The
take
last-
real quick?
Sure.
Tillamook sucks.
No, it's the best ice cream.
Yeah, but
The
that's
hot take
but that's
is
not. But that's not a hot take.
no. The hot take is you can eat ice cream with a fork.
I mean, that's
Okay.
true.
No. I mean, you can, but
That's not a
Why?
hot take. That's not a hot take. That's just a fact. A hot take would be it is preferable to eat ice cream with a
It
fork
is the
than a spoon.
only way
Yeah.
to eat ice cream.
All right, there
the
you
hot
go.
take is you should eat ice cream with a fork.
You can
All right,
only
Lennon, here's
eat
a-
ice cream
here's
with a fork.
Here's a question though, Lennon. What happens when your ice cream becomes soup and you can't use the fork anymore?
You shouldn't be eating it then. Put it back in the freezer so it can be not soup.
You drink it.
But Lennon loves when his
drink it.
ice cream becomes soup.
All right.
You get
so,
yourself a straw.
uh,
Be a man.
You have
What
a
have I
milkshake
been
now.
Yeah.
So last we left off a couple months. Wow, couple weeks ago. It does feel like a couple of months. I had decided to torture myself by playing Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, which Katie really does not like that game. When I told her I was going to play through it for real, she was like, "No!" But I played through it and it was fine. I finished it. I had last left off pretty deep into the game, and I had found myself with some extra time on my hands before Pokemon Legends ZA came out. So I played through another game that maybe I shouldn't have, and I played through Phantasy Star 3, which is the black sheep of that series. Here's a hot take. That game was actually not that bad. I like, a lot of people really don't like that game.
It's true.
I think that the problem with the game is that it heavily relies on backtracking through like the same areas over and over and over, and a lot of the areas are designed in a super fucking basic way. Like, all the towns are almost the same, and a lot of the dungeons are mostly the same. Quite a few of the world maps are very plain, and there's like not a lot of features to them. And there's like several world maps, but they're all very small, and there's not a whole lot of notable places to go on any of them. But like, I really like the lore behind the game, like the whole backstory of like what's going on in the world of Phantasy Star 3. Fantastic. Writing might be awful, but I loved just like understanding what was going on between the 3 generations. So like, that was a pretty fun time. I probably would only play it again if I want to re-experience like all of Phantasy Star, but I think it's a worthy addition to the series, even if a lot of people say that it isn't. So yeah, tying that back in. And then I guess I've been playing this game, this game, Pokemon Legends ZA Nintendo Switch 2 Edition.
Pokemon Legends ZA?
ZA.
Short for pizza?
No, it's short for
Definitely
Zigga
not.
Zigga.
Zigga.
Yes. I'm afraid of giving my opinions on this game because the internet would probably crucify me.
But this is the hot take episode, so it's fine. You just label it as hot take.
Here's a hot take. This game is actually really good. I mean, I think there's some faults with it, obviously, but like, I'll give more of my thoughts when I've completed it, and also when like we do our year in review, I'll be able to talk about it more. But I am having a really good time with it, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the game has in store. I just got to a super big part of the game, and I will say, even though we didn't have the best of things to say about Pokemon X and Y in our previous podcast, people that played through X and Y are in for a treat, and that is all I'm gonna say.
Is the treat a cyanide capsule?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't think I've done anything like outside of video games that has been all that interesting or exciting, really, lately. No. So, yeah. That's it for me. Landon.
Hi.
What you up to?
What am I up to? Eating Tillamook, Oregon strawberry ice cream. That's what I'm up to right now. What?
Have you been doing that the last few weeks? Just eating the same ice cream for 2 weeks?
No, I just opened this up. I did finish the Tillamook mudslide.
For the listeners, he tilted the pint to himself to like take a look and inspect it. To just
to make sure. I had to double check, even though the seal is right there. I've got it right here. I opened it on camera. Or off camera, I forget. Anyway, gaming wise, in chapter 2 of Trails in the Sky, first chapter, remake, which means I'm in Ruan, which means I've met Chloe, which means the game is finally good again.
Hell yeah.
Because the game got good when Olivier showed up, and that's when the game got good.
But it got good too.
It got
when
good
Chloe
again.
shows up.
Yeah. The sequel to It Got Good. So yeah, that's fun.
I did play through the demo of that. I don't think I mentioned that. But
I think we talked about that. Yeah. You played the demo, and you're like, I actually need to play all 13 games now. Thanks.
I never said that, but I am more excited to play more of the games now, for sure.
Listen, if you play through one, that's it. You'll probably end up playing the rest of them.
It's over.
It's over.
I've been indoctrinated.
It's over, Kaiba.
My life. It's my life soon.
Yeah, I hope so. That's my side hustle with Al. Is I'm betting that you're gonna streamline them all back to back to back to back. He says you will take a break after playing 4 of them in a row. So we'll see. Anyway, what was I going to say? I guess other than that, gaming-wise, I have played more Balatro on my phone. Those are the 2 things I can do at any given time. Anyway, more important than that.
He's got some cool shit to show
Portland
off
Retro.
Portland Retro Gaming Expo, baby. Let's go. So it's now 3 days with vendor. It used to only be 2 days, but I think they changed that last year. The Friday used to just be like free arcade, but I didn't have time to go on Friday. I had to do shit around the house. So now I only went Saturday and Sunday, but I have my badge. They did Mario theme badges.
Nice.
Mario.
Which this is all day 2 shit. We're gonna get this out of my way. We're gonna go through day 1 shit first. Except I'm gonna save my favorite part of day 1 shit for last. After day 2 shit because it was the best. Games I picked up. We got Infamous 2 for the PS3. We got Soul Calibur 5 for the PS3. We got
I think I played that one.
Ratchet & Clank Future Tools of Destruction for the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
We
Good
got
answer, Steve.
Katamari Forever for the PlayStation 3.
Nice.
We got
Good answer, Steve.
Pilot Wings Resort for the
Hell
Nintendo
yeah,
3DS.
Pilot Wings, baby.
So
Quite a
those
few PS3 games.
those were these were the games I picked up. And then right now I'm not doing a ton of art because this space is becoming a nursery. So my time in this space is very limited, and I don't want to just have a bunch of art. I already have a bunch of art sitting down in like the basement, just waiting for me to be able to put it up. But I did get this felt magnet of a slime.
Nice.
So I get to go stick it on my fridge after this, so it's really cool. The artist, she was there, and she had like a bunch of different stuff. She had stuff like she had Green Dragon from Dragon Quest. She had like a Samus. Let's see, what are some of the other things? I think a lot of Pokemon. She had a lot of Gen 1 and some Gen 2 Pokemon. This is like a very basic design. Some of them were like super stacked and huge. Was it Deadpool? Like, I think there was like a Deadpool or something. Like, there's some insane stuff. A lot of cool stuff. I thought it was really nice. So, there's that. Day 2. AKA the last day. First off, Balatro pin, baby. Got Jimbo.
Nice.
Yeah. We got Yoshi.
Yoshi for Game Boy.
We got. Now I've decided.
Isn't that one done by Game Freak?
Yoshi?
I feel like that is.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, I've decided I'm going to try to get as many of the Nintendo published.
It is, Cloud.
Damn.
That's what I thought.
Well, then it might be my favorite Game Freak game. So
it could be. I think you should play it and find out.
Oh no, I have played it. I played it like on like 3DS Virtual Console. That's why I bought it. Anyway, my goal is to buy maybe not all of them, but a lot of the Nintendo published 3DS games. So we got fucking Crosswords Plus, baby.
Crosswords Plus is published by Nintendo.
It's published by Nintendo, baby. Look at that shit.
Sometimes Nintendo publishes some interesting games.
Speaking of interesting games,
software.
A sealed copy of Steel Diver.
Someone said, you know what? I know this game isn't worth opening up, so I'm not going to.
It was funny. The booth vendor that had this, they had 2 sealed copies of Steel Diver. They had one for $10, which is the one that's in my hand. And they had a second copy for $15. And I went, I'm going to buy the $10 one. So I bought the $10 one. I'm going to end up opening it, so there's no point for me to like buy the more expensive one.
I like how that was a sealed game that was $10.
$10.
That tells you something about Steel Diver.
But
you know what?
It's not good, baby. It's not good. But boom, Wario.
Master of
Disguise. Wario, baby. Oh, speaking of Wario, this year Charles Martinet was actually a guest speaker, and he was there doing autographs at Portland Retro.
Hell yeah.
And David Hayter was there too. He had a panel.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, so they actually get some pretty good people at this, which is why you guys should never come out. Just don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No one ever go.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Please, if you show up, I might be upset and pee myself. So don't do it.
That's too much information. That's too much information.
Don't worry, Claude. He'll just piss your pants.
Yeah.
No. Stop it.
All right, next. Boom. Game & Watch Collection.
2,
baby. Game & Watch Collection 2. All right. We're going to wrap it up real quick. Boom. Little Big Planet carding.
Big Planet carding.
It wasn't even on my list to get, but I saw it, and it was like $10, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
You're like, this reminds me of Cloud in that video he still has to make.
Yeah. I'll hold this hostage so he can, that way I know he has to play it. I'll come over. Make you play it.
You're going to come over, you're going to be knocking on the door, and then you're going to be holding this when I open it.
It's like the Wii commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I have to say. And if you don't get that reference, why are you even here? Last game. Boom. Ratchet & Clank, whatever this one is. I don't even know.
Full Frontal Assault.
Full Frontal Assault. That's what I picked up.
Gotta love those Ratchet & Clank games with the innuendo titles.
Yeah. Okay.
I love it.
The real last thing was this framed beadwork of Euphoria the Saga characters that I found.
Hell yeah.
Which is
that's amazing.
Phenomenal. I think this was made for me.
Yeah.
This
was made for you to purchase.
I don't think anyone else was going to see this and be like, oh, hell yeah. I think this was literally made for me. It was $5 for this. It's a
That's
framed,
insane.
Wow.
By the way,
it's for those who are listening, it is the main playable characters from Euphoria the Saga, like in bead art, that is framed in a very cheap, what you'd probably find is like a $2 frame at a Goodwill, but it's phenomenal and it's out of my entire video gaming, like my entire pulp culture collection, it's definitely the highlight now. Like, what I'm just gonna pick.
I mean, you got Bop Louie in a frame. How much higher can you go?
Like this Goku, I hate this Goku. There, he's dead to me. Done. He's dead.
Was that? Is that is Goku?
It is Goku.
The front of his hair fell off.
It's Kid Goku.
That's awesome.
But in samurai.
Gotcha.
You made him bald.
I made him bald. I made him half bald. I made him receding hairline. See, it's Goku.
Oh, okay. He's got helmet hair.
Yeah, he's got helmet hair. There. I hate this Goku now. Euphoria the Saga 2, baby. Or not 2, but go play Euphoria the Saga 2. Go watch the Great Ace
also
Attorney
play
VODs.
Euphoria the Saga 1.
What? Yeah, do that too. I will say there was one booth, and I really thought about it, and I should have done it. I should have gone back the second day, but there was a booth that had someone was selling Ace Attorney keychains. These were like their personal like artwork, but they even like had Gregson. And I was like, I should have gone back and like bought the keychains because I need a Gregson keychain. But I didn't because I'm a coward and an idiot.
I mean, you did get something.
I did get,
and it speaks to you specifically.
Yeah.
It really does feel like it was made specifically for you.
I literally do not know anyone else who would like this Euphoria the Saga like artwork.
Yeah.
It's like, name one other person on the face of the planet
That would go that wild over framed Bop Louie.
Yeah.
I don't think there is anybody. I think Landon's the one.
I think I'm it. So yeah, it was a pretty fun show. I took the twins. It was me and the twins, and then someone from our server, who's local, went, and then we had a good time, and then we went again Sunday. Kari went with us, and she like mostly wrangled the kids, because it's definitely a me thing for the Portland Retro. And then I took friend of the podcast Nick, and immediately he and I got separated. Like immediately, like
awesome.
I went to a booth and then I turned around and I didn't even see my own children anymore. I was just like, huh.
How many copies of Dead Rising 2 did he buy?
I actually do not know, but he did buy. He bought 69 just loose discs.
just loose discs.
Just loose discs.
How much did he spend on them? Were they on like a spindle?
I think it was. I don't think they were, but they were. I think $1 a piece or something. From what he was saying, I wasn't there when he bought them.
Oh my god!
But he was telling me.
Are they actual games?
Yeah, they're games. They're like Wii U, like PS3, like games. And
he's got to do the Lil B video. He's got to be like classic.
Haven't played it yet. Where he just has a bunch of loose discs in a folder.
Yeah.
So that's like my guy. He knows how to party. He knows how to party.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was, and then I did play a little bit of Zelda 1. Because they have like a console arcade. They have like arcade cabinets, free arcade cabinets, pinball, and then console arcade. So you can like randomly play. Like it was like I was playing a GameCube, and it was the Zelda's Collector's Edition. So it had Zelda 1, 2, and then a bad game in Majora's Mask. So I was.
Yeah, I wonder which one is the bad game.
It's the Wind Waker demo. That's the bad game.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Because it's not the full game, right?
Yes, exactly. You got it. So I decided I'd play a little Zelda 1, and I beat the first dungeon, and I got one of the hidden heart containers in the world because I remembered where you have to bomb to get it. Because I probably did that 20 times for the Let's Play.
Now it's up to somebody else to finish that arcade playthrough.
They didn't have memory cards, so it was dead as soon as I left.
Damn.
Yeah, but I did name myself.
I was
KJHG 53. So the Landlord saga continues somewhere.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So had a lot of fun. I don't want to go again next year with the kids because they will be able to walk. And I don't like that. I don't like that thought.
Fuck that.
Yeah. They couldn't walk today. Or not today, but this time. Next time they would be able to. And I don't like that thought.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Huh.
Yeah, that is all. I'm tired. I have to go to bed to go to work in the morning.
Bad hot take.
Going to work.
Yeah, that's a bad hot take. That's a lukewarm take.
I'm so looking forward to going to work tomorrow morning, guys.
That's a hot take.
That's a hot take.
That is a hot take.
Is a hot take.
Yeah.
And with that, we're just gonna sign off and we'll roll the outro. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. If you enjoyed us, consider subscribing to our podcast RSS feed or follow us on youtube.com/GamingStooges and twitch.tv/GamingStooges for more gaming content. If you'd like to chat with us, join our Discord. The link can be found in the episode description. We also want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. Your continued support means a lot to us. Not already one? Please take a look at what we have to offer anyone who becomes a patron at patreon.com/GamingStooges. See you next time!